So Marina Mabrey has responded to the to everything that's going on.
Marina Mabrey just looked like she was just unhinged out there after looking at this, man.
One shove turned a tense WNBA game into the biggest officiating scandal of the season, shattered fan trust overnight, and gave Marina Mabrey a twisted new reputation as the league's ultimate villain. In the clash between Connecticut Sun and the Indiana Fever, technical fouls and ejections flew like confetti. But in the middle of the chaos, Mabrey's cheap shot on Caitlin Clark crossed a line so blatant that even the commentators gasped in disbelief. Yet instead of facing instant consequences, Mabrey walked away untouched while the referees fumbled their authority in front of thousands of stunned fans. When the league finally admitted the mistake, it was too late.
Are here the night after WNBA Fight Night. Sophie Cunningham putting Jacy Sheldon in a clinch. Marina Mabrey targeting Caitlin Clark.
What started as a reckless blindside hit exploded into a full-blown crisis, raising a brutal question. Who actually runs this league? The officials on the court or the PR team scrambling behind the scenes? This meltdown didn't just expose one dirty play. It ripped open the WNBA's fragile credibility at a time when the spotlight burns brighter than ever. Stay locked in, hit that like button, and sound off in the comments. Should Marina Mabrey face a suspension, or did the league already fail every test of fairness? Buckle up, because the rabbit hole goes deeper than anyone expected.
Oh, and Marina Mabrey is going to get ejected. If the officials saw that, Marina Mabrey is going to get ejected.
Well, they're going to go and look at it.
All they had to do was just eject her. All they had to do was eject her, and none of this happens. If the referees had ejected Marina Mabrey, nothing else happens. The Sophie Cunningham situation does not happen.
Long before Marina Mabrey's blindside shove sent Caitlin Clark sprawling, the clash between the Sun and the Fever had already spiraled into a barely contained battlefield. Tension brewed from the opening tip as hard fouls piled up and tempers snapped under the weight of championship implications and a roaring crowd hungry for blood. By the third quarter, the referees were handing out technical fouls like party favors, 6 in total, but each whistle seemed to fan the flames instead of calming them. Then came the ejections. 3 players booted for escalating confrontations that turned a regular season matchup into a spectacle bordering on chaos.
So, there are 4 players fined in that game. 4 players fined in that game, but the referees, the scariest part about all this is that the referees came out with their report. They came out with a report and said, the contact made by Mabrey did not rise to the level of ejection. Additionally, it did not meet the criteria for a flagrant 2 penalty. And it was given as a technical foul. Not even a flagrant, by the way.
Veteran bruisers and rising stars tangled in the paint, exchanged elbows, and barked at every official who dared step between them. The arena atmosphere shifted from competitive to combustible with every missed call and shrugged off foul, setting the perfect stage for one player to cross the line so blatantly that the entire WNBA would be forced to reckon with the fallout. Yet even amid this raw tension, no one expected what Marina Mabrey unleashed next, a move so reckless, so flagrant, that even decades-old rivalries looked tame in comparison. But the bedlam didn't peak with the shove alone. The league's handling of what followed would ignite an even bigger inferno.
A lot of it is centered around the last 46 seconds where Sophie Cunningham hard fouls Jacy Sheldon. She gets ejected, Jacy gets ejected, does Lindsay? I think Lindsay gets ejected. And in watching the broadcast, even the broadcasters at the time mentioned if they would have just ejected Marina Mabrey, this probably wouldn't have happened.
One moment Caitlin Clark was scanning the court. The next, she was crashing to the floor, leveled by a hit that came out of nowhere. Marina Mabrey didn't go for the ball. She didn't even disguise it. She lunged straight at Clark's body, blindsiding her at full speed in front of thousands. Gasps ripped through the arena as fans and commentators watched, stunned that no whistle blew her out of the game on the spot.
So Caitlin Clark gets poked in the eye. Marina Mabrey doesn't even see what happens, and she just decides to clean Caitlin Clark out of it. And the referees just said, nah, it was not worth an injection. So Caitlin dribbles. Look at how far she is away from the ball, by the way. Look at how far she is away from the ball. That's literally, she's nowhere near the ball. She just jumps at her face. And then she belly bumps Caitlin. Caitlin retaliates by shoving in an unsportsmanlike manner, according to the referees. And then Marina Mabrey comes from nowhere.
Replays spread online within minutes, sparking outrage from neutral fans and Clark's supporters alike. Clips labeled a cheap shot and a Bush League foul as hashtags demanding a suspension trended overnight. The shove wasn't just a dirty play. It turned an already heated matchup into a symbol of everything broken about WNBA officiating. Yet the most shocking twist wasn't the foul itself, but how Mabrey stayed on the floor like nothing happened, grinning while the referees pretended nothing was wrong.
At this angle, you can see just how far JC Sheldon is away from the ball. The ball's here. She's hitting Caitlin Clark in the face here. You guys are looking at my cursor. I'm sorry I can't make this bigger. My cursor. She hits Caitlin Clark here. The ball's here. The ball is 3 feet away from Caitlin Clark's face. And she just targets the face. She targets the face. Like, I don't know if there's any other way to describe it. Like, this is clearly, she just lunged at her face. She went nowhere near the ball. She lunges forward. She absolutely, positively, zero doubts about it, lunges at Caitlin Clark's face.
When the dust settled, fans were less angry at Marina Mabrey and more furious at those in stripes who watched it all unfold. The officiating crew, led by Ashley Gloss, reviewed the hit in real time and still decided it didn't cross the line for an ejection. Instead, a basic technical foul let Mabrey keep playing as if the blind side never happened.
I don't see how you can say that any other way. She literally lunged at her face. And then Caitlin's there walking away, and she belly bumps her. Like, by the way, Caitlin with the shove. Caitlin does not move JC Sheldon. If you look at this angle, you can see Caitlin Clark does not move JC Sheldon. They're like, Caitlin shoved Sheldon. Caitlin literally, JC Sheldon's still moving forward. So JC Sheldon is the one who initiates the contact and then chases her, and Marina Mabrey comes from nowhere.
Commentators called it baffling, players demanded consistency, and fans roasted the refs for losing control of a game that was slipping away minute by minute. After the final buzzer, Gloss doubled down, insisting the contact didn't rise to the level of a flagrant 2.
The contact made by Mabrey did not rise to the level of an ejection. Additionally, it did not meet the criteria for a flagrant foul penalty 2.
That statement poured gasoline on the outrage already boiling online. What made this failure sting even more? The league's next move would prove just how wrong the officials really were and expose a bigger crack in the system.
So yeah, she ended up stating this: Marina Mabrey's technical from last night's Fever Sun game has been upgraded to a flagrant 2. Oh man, the league told ESPN a flagrant 2 comes from a standard fine. Additionally, Sophie Cunningham was fined separately for her hard foul with 46 seconds to play.
Hours after the game, while fans demanded answers, the WNBA quietly flipped its own script. Buried deep in a website update, the league reclassified Marina Mabrey's shove as a flagrant 2, the same level that should have meant instant ejection during the game. No big announcement, no press conference, just a quiet fix that read more like damage control than real accountability.
People are calling for Sophie Cunningham's ejection from the league. People are commenting under Marina Mabrey stuff.
To many, this sudden upgrade felt like the league admitting its referees blew the call when it mattered most. For Caitlin Clark and the Fever, it changed nothing in the moment, but sent a loud message. Trust in real-time officiating is wearing thin. If a flagrant 2 can hide behind a technical until fans scream loud enough, what's the point of rules at all? The gap between what's called live and what's corrected after grows wider with every replay, and fans see right through it.
It is kind of, frustrating to see the hypocrisy like everywhere in all the spaces when it comes to the Indiana Fever, because I'm seeing the same people saying, and the same people in the media, the same people in social media, which social media doesn't really count and it shouldn't, but these are filtering to people in the mainstream media saying it was a physical league last season, to Sophie should be ejected and her spot should be considered in the league, and calling her out on all these physical plays that were totally excusable until the Indiana Fever do them.
One shove opened old wounds fans knew too well. Sophie Cunningham got tossed without hesitation for a hard foul that barely compared to Mabrey's blindside. Caitlin Clark took a technical for reacting after being poked in the eye. Meanwhile, Mabrey's reckless hit kept her on the floor until the league quietly changed the ruling later.
There's no way y'all coming after the game and then now you're saying, oh, it should have been a flagrant 2. Oh, we should have. Look, you're catching the smoke and now you want to change it. You need to do it during the game. All right, during the game, go ahead and call it the way it is, man. Stop with the nonsense.
The message was impossible to miss. The same refs calling quick ejections on one play suddenly looked the other way on another. This wasn't the first time. Last season, Kennedy Carter's cheap shot on Clark went unpunished until public outrage forced a retroactive fix. Now the same script repeated, only the faces change.
Out with this statement saying, yeah, it was a flagrant 2.
Fans and analysts see a league caught between protecting stars when convenient and pretending controversy doesn't exist until trending hashtags force a rewrite. Every missed whistle fuels whispers that fairness depends less on the rulebook and more on who gets hit.
So this just clearly shows me the referees need some schooling, man. Okay? They need some schooling. You had these referees out here clueless, man. And I was wondering what was taking them so long to call the right call. I swear to you, man, we lived 2 lifetimes before they came back and said what they needed to say about the nonsense that happened.
While the league scrambled to patch its credibility, Marina Mabrey chose chaos. Instead of apologies or a low profile, she leaned into the backlash with a TikTok that spread like wildfire. Smirking into the camera, she wrote, "Every time they comment, I make dollars." No remorse, no second thoughts, just a taunt that turned fan anger into personal clout.
But Marina Mabrey commented on TikTok about the whole situation, and this is what she said. "Every time they comment, I make dollars."
For supporters of Caitlin Clark and the Fever, it was a slap in the face. For Mabrey's defenders, it was proof she thrives on being the villain the WNBA didn't know it needed. The clip racked up views, arguments, and threats of boycotts. Yet behind the viral moment was a deeper frustration. A player using controversy as a brand, while the league's inconsistent punishment turned bad behavior into free marketing. The shove was ugly enough, but Mabrey's brazen response lit the fuse for a fan base ready to explode.
Like, if you guys don't know about Sophie Cunningham and Marina Mabrey, who these 2 people are, like, you need to just know the lore. Like, Marina Mabrey, this is how like, Dejanay calls Marina Mabrey her evil twin.
The league's quiet upgrade and Mabrey's smug TikTok forced one question to the front. Does the WNBA even have control over its own rules? Fans watched a blatant flagrant foul slide by live, only to be fixed after endless online uproar.
The question was, why did Caitlin Clark get a technical foul? She ended up coming back and saying, after the foul by Sheldon, Clark reacted in an unsportsmanlike manner toward Sheldon. Huh?
If referees on the court can't get it right in real time, what good is a rulebook rewritten after the damage is done? Each post-game adjustment chips away at trust, turning clean competition into a guessing game.
Now the flagrant with Sophie, I'm still questioning that. I'm still questioning because it looked like a take foul, fam. And don't tell me y'all never seen somebody grab LeBron James, like hold him like both of his arms, try to hold him down. He fights through it, still makes the bucket. Don't tell me y'all never seen that.
Players, coaches, and fans want to believe in a fair fight, not an invisible spin room patching mistakes overnight. Worse, this inconsistency hits the league's brightest names hardest. If a shove can go unchecked while a superstar like Caitlin Clark takes the fall for reacting instinctively, who's really protected?
At the end of the day, as long as bad referees are allowed to do whatever the hell they want to do, as long as bad referees can get away with every single thing they want and can get away with stuff like this, nothing will ever change.
The gap between the whistle and the after-the-fact apology grows wider each season, and patience is wearing thin. Marina Mabrey's cheap shot didn't just knock Caitlin Clark to the floor, it knocked a hole through the WNBA's shaky credibility. Fans now watch every game wondering if rules will hold or bend under pressure. Each quiet fine and post-game upgrade feels like a bandage on a wound that keeps reopening.
Oh, it's good that the refs did something about it, but they should have did something about it way earlier. They could have prevented all of this. They could have prevented every bit of this, but they chose not to.
For rising stars like Clark and tough enforcers like Sophie Cunningham, the message is chilling. Real protection only comes if the backlash is loud enough.
Marina Mabrey is a crash out artist. Like, there's literally this page, if you guys haven't seen, called Women Who, and 90% of what they do.
Meanwhile, players like Mabrey flip the script, turning outrage into clicks, streams, and bigger profiles. If the league can't enforce standards in the heat of the moment, then no superstar is safe from reckless fouls, and no official can dodge blame forever.
Marina Mabrey will find any excuse to knock someone on the ground or, like, go at somebody. We saw that when she was with the Sky. We'll see that with the Sun. We've seen that when she was with the Wings. Like, that's Marina Mabrey. That is Marina Mabrey at the end.
What comes next isn't just another flagrant or silent suspension. It's a showdown over how much chaos fans, sponsors, and players are willing to tolerate before trust snaps completely. Drop thoughts below. Should Mabrey sit out games, or did the league fail its chance to send message? Like, subscribe, and stay locked in. This saga is far from over.